It's Sctv with Ethan Humble, Sophie Reese, Will Kopp, and Sam Hying.
Good evening, and welcome back to Sctv, Simpson College's first student-run weekly newscast. I'm Ethan Humble.
And I'm Sophie Reese. Thanks for joining us.
We discussed the space in Cole's gym a couple weeks ago, and recently the concern has been centered around the space in the fitness center.
With teams cramming for space, it's difficult to get team workouts in throughout the week. Here's our Joel Sampson with more.
The Simpson College fitness facilities have been crowded all year long. With the addition of new spring team sports, the fight for space has been even tighter this semester. Fifth-year baseball player Matthew Marquez shares his concern.
I would think this semester is more packed with teams because we've added 3 separate spring sports teams with men and women gymnastics as well as men's volleyball. So like that kind of schedule, it's pretty tough. I mean, I give credit to Chinch and Coach Sam about being able to schedule 8-9 teams this spring, still finding time for them to do separate lifts and having the general public as well.
Marquez says the solution to the problem is more space. He thinks Simpson needs a new facility for different sports to work out in.
At the end of the day, I think we're just going to have to add another facility. Like, it won't be like a next year, 3 years down the road. It's going to have to be like probably 6-7 years down the road where there's ultimately need to be a new facility, you know, with all these new teams. And I've also heard aspirations of other teams being added to our spring roster, you know, with more sports and stuff. So I feel like at the end of the day, it's going to have to be 2 biggest teams like baseball, softball, kind of have their own facility, and then football can take over this, and then smaller sports and stuff like that can like mix in within the 2 different weight rooms. But ultimately, we just need more space. Marquez
thinks New Year's resolutions may be playing a part in the weight room space restrictions.
Every year it comes around where January to about, let's say, end of February is where all these New Year, New Me people like to come in, get their lifts in, but sometime around end of February is usually where it starts to like die down and it's nothing but athletes.
Sports teams have been crunching for time to finish their workouts downstairs and have to finish their workouts upstairs.
I have to agree with that. For example, our Wednesday lifts, we start at 3 o'clock, and we kind of rush through it. We have an hour exactly, and then men's soccer likes to come in, even though they're in the off season, they come in at 4 p.m., so it's really rushed. And I have personally come upstairs and finished my lift, and honestly, it's a disliking for me.
It seems every Simpson fitness connoisseur will be forced to adjust. I'm Joel Sampson, Sctv.
Hopefully there are plans for another facility to alleviate the overuse. Thanks, Joel.
One club focused around supporting those with developmental disabilities is making a return to campus.
Sophie has more about the revamping of Best Buddies.
Simpson College Best Buddies is an organization that's designed to integrate peers and community members with an intellectual or developmental disability through a pairing process, and it's making a return to campus after a long hiatus.
Best Buddies kind of went away with COVID. It was hard to do events during COVID because we couldn't really have any events here on campus, and to my understanding, a lot of the group homes are also kind of keeping things a little bit tighter without like getting out into the community as much.
Now that COVID is no longer standing in the way, the Best Buddies executive team is working to get the organization back up and running.
Best Buddies was something I was involved in high school, and I was very passionate about it. I still speak to my buddy today, and so bringing that to Simpson's campus is something that I've always wanted to do, but I'm glad and very excited that we're finally getting it started again this year.
I was asked to attend a conference over the summer just to see if we could get it up and going again. We know that there's some group homes in Indianola that are interested in getting it started again, and we just think this is a great way to get the community connected with some of the students on campus. So to begin, we finally have a full exec team, which is awesome. That was one of our biggest goals. One of our next goals is to get more members and eventually start working with the buddies from the group homes.
So one of the major parts of Best Buddies is what you would call typical peers are paired with students with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Basically, it's just like a friend. You check in, you can hang out with them at the parties, you can take them to do ice cream. It's just having that person for them to go to and just have a good friend.
We're working very hard to get this up and running. We've been communicating with people from Best Buddies headquarters, people from group homes in the area, and so we're hoping to get our first event started this year, and then we'll be back in full swing for next year.
I feel like overall we're just trying to look to get more people involved just because we want it to be a big thing that our campus wants to be involved in, because it is an awesome cause to get involved in.
Students can get involved by scanning the QR code posted in various places on campus or sign up by using the link in their Instagram bio. For SCTV, I'm Sophie Reese.
What a great usage of time. Good people doing good work.
I couldn't agree more, Ethan. Simpson put on an exhibit to celebrate inclusivity.
Our Ariel Clark has more.
The All-Inclusivity exhibition will be open from Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for Simpson students to attend.
Most of the work that people have contributed have been basically overall supportive in celebrating inclusivity anywhere, but some of it addresses Simpson specifically. He was talking about it at a division meeting for the Visual and Performing Arts, and Cara Raffaelli out of the theater department heard it, and she came up and asked if I would like some assistance, and I practically dropped to my knees and said, yes, please help. And she's been great in helping me plan it and think it through.
My area of scholarship is all about representation, specifically LGBTQ plus representation, the need for representation, and the limits of representation. So thinking about inclusivity, accessibility in the arts, and specifically in the performing arts, is what I write about, what I think about when I'm not in the classroom. So it really was up my alley.
Most of the show is up and ready for viewing. On February 28th, the last day of February, there will be a gallery reception at 5:30. That's a Tuesday. And we're going to have food and we're going to have music. I'd love for the jazz band to come and play a little bit.
Students will be allowed to take home their pieces after the exhibition. They will also be accepting additions until February 15th. For SCTV, I am Ariel Clark.
Students can visit the exhibit throughout the remainder of the week.
We talked about art, now let's talk numbers.
Simpson is hosting a math modeling competition to give students a chance to put their problem-solving skills on display.
Our Joe Lamb interviewed Catherine Vance, professor of mathematics and competition coordinator, to learn more.
It's actually one competition that's in two parts, or has two names, I guess. So when a team of 3 students starts the competition, there is a choice of 6 problems. And so each team chooses one problem. And 3 of the problems are part of the MCM, which is the mathematical modeling competition. And the other 3 problems are part of the ICM, which is the interdisciplinary modeling competition. We think it's a great opportunity for students. We think it's fun. It's exciting. It enriches your soul to have this kind of experience where you're working hard on an academic problem. And maybe more from the student perspective of why should I do it, it's a really great resume builder.
I did it last year and I had a lot of fun doing it. It's like one of those things where you can apply all of the knowledge that you've learned in math courses and other courses too. So,
along the lines of you don't have to be a mathy person, you don't have to be a senior to do well. That we think it's fantastic when first years participate, when students at all levels participate, and actually some of our most successful teams in the past who have had the highest rankings in the results have been teams of first years.
I gotta say, I participated in the math modeling competition a couple of years ago. It was some tough stuff.
Sounds like some next level problem solving for sure. Thanks, Joe.
For the light piece this week, I decided to bring former news director Jake Brend out of SCTV retirement and asked him to do an assignment for me.
Here's a day in the life of a local sports reporter.
Good morning, SCTV. Former news director Jake Brend here, and I got an assignment this week. It's a day in the life of a Local 5 sports reporter. Here I am outside SAE, the house that Noah Sacco built sports journalists. 7:30, off to Ames. Iowa State wins 68-53. Halfway through my day, time to get back to the station, edit these highlights, and get ready for the 6 o'clock news. Forgot to document the 6 o'clock news, got too behind, but local 5 meteorologist Dave Downey joins me now. Dave?
It's like tropical out here.
What's for dinner, Dave?
Chick-fil-A.
Ooh, salad time.
Four, three, two.
Iowa State is coming off of back-to-back losses, but that didn't stop the fans from showing out.
I can't wait for March Madness, man. 48 today. We've got some 50s in the forecast and snow. Half the room.
I hope to be living a similar life in a few short months, Jake. Thanks for the video.
Had Jake done a day in the life this time last year, we'd likely be seeing him celebrate his team's intramural basketball championship.
Although he was a late scratch to play Sunday night, the rest of the team picked up the slack. Here are your intramural basketball highlights. It's the end of an era, folks. The Intramural Basketball Championship happened Sunday night with the black team Tropics against the red team Redeem Team. This was a rematch from last year, as you could have guessed from the Redeem Team's name, and the Redeem Team would actually start out really hot, hitting a couple of early triples to seize an early advantage over the defending champion Tropics. Brett Bobinette would drain this 3-0 to keep the Tropics in it. In what was a nice match all around, Max Robinson showing some hustle trying to get that ball. A nice 3 there from Potratz gets the red team up by quite a good margin. You see 14-7 up there. Aaron Price cuts the lead to 4 just before the half. At the half, though, both teams tied 16-all. A lot of enthusiasm from both sides in this affair. Starting out the second half, it was the Redeem Team again starting the half strong, with Green putting that one away. Reed Worth gets the easy 2 inside. And after that, it would be Aaron Price going in, taking that one in for the 2. And we got a controversial play here. Listen in. Well, I'll let you decide whatever you make of that. Regardless, the Redeem Team up 26-25. A block from Reed Worth. He chased him down. No, it's called a foul. A couple of controversial calls near the end there, and it would be Brett Bobinette with the no-looker to Reed Worth. The free throw to put the game away, no good, which means the Redeem Team gets one last play, drawing it up right here. A lot of critical thinking in that huddle. The three-pointer for Potratz, no good, which means the Tropics will go back-to-back. Despite losing the first 2 regular season matchups to the Redeem Team, they win this one 29-26. Let's hear from both sides in their post-game interviews.
We're very easily the most hated team on campus. You know, nobody wants to see the freshmen, sophomores, underclassmen come in and stick it to the league. We were 8-0 regular season, beat these guys twice in the regular season, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times in this league.
We came out, our plan was to play tough defense, and we were down a couple guys, and we just had to play with what we had, just 5 guys, so got it done.
The Redeem Team is going to be back for sure. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go for the coveted 3-peat, but hopefully we'll come back and we're going to do it again. We're going to come out even better and even stronger than we were last year.
Me and Reed were talking, we were like, since it's obviously our senior year, I wanted to go on a good note. We were calling it the last dance, so we were pumped about that.
What a great game. Sad to see intramural basketball come to an end for the year.
Sadly, yes. Reed Worth showed his hops on his chase down block attempt, but one Simpson athlete would even outjump him, Carter Berkey.
Berkey broke the indoor long jump school record at the Grinnell Invite and earned Performer of the Week honors for his effort.
We sent our Will Kopp to chat with the jumper.
Long jumper and 5th-year senior Carter Berkey has recently just broken the school's long jump record with a jump of 7.22 meters. Let's go see how he feels about it.
You know, it was my goal going into this year and my coach's goal because it was his first All-American that he coached. So it's just cool to break his record. I think I placed 14th or something like that, came in ranked 24th. Guy Mosier, my long jump coach right now, is my 4th long jump coach in 5 years. So consistently bringing in new coaches help me be successful and set me up for this. He's coached over 240 All-Americans, 25 national champion, so he knows what he's talking about. He's fixed up a couple things I had been doing wrong with my technique, and it's paid off. Yeah, coming into the season, I was about, my PR was 3 inches off of it, and brought in a new coach who's been successful, and we've been working all fall and over winter break to get me ready for this moment. I didn't start doing track until my junior year in high school. Just coach saw me playing basketball and asked me to come out. And then I didn't start long jumping until my senior year. So then making state my senior year in track. I triple jump and then I run the 4x1. Just each week keep improving. Once we get to conference, I want to win conference in both long and triple jump. And then here in 6 weeks, be an All-American at Nationals.
We look forward to seeing you break more records this spring. And with Sctv, I'm Will Kopp.
With that many coaches and still a consistent string of success, it really says something about him.
For sure. Berkey has been a key part of the men's track and field team's success this year.
With aspirations of jumping up to 4th in the conference standings under the helm of Coach Aaron Fuller, we sent our Sam Hying to hear more from the team.
Everyone's talking about these famous running stories like McFarland USA or Race or even Unbroken. But there's just one story that nobody's talking about. And that is Simpson's track and field team. Welcome back to Sam Sports Features. This week I did the track team. Let's see how they're doing so far this season.
Season's been pretty good. Never had an indoor season before, but it's nice to get to travel, get to see all of the other indoor facilities out in our conference. It's nice to be able to run with fast people and get faster. In performing, they're doing really well. People like Max Cleveland and Carter Berkey and many others are doing very well, and we're all improving, we're all getting better, and it's a really great environment. I really like it. The team, just to get to conference and do really well in conference, score as many points as we can, compete to our best, hopefully get very good marks and PR in a lot of things.
I'd like to give a shout out to our very own Will Kopp for making the track and field team this season. It looks like he's kicking this season.
At least for me personally, I try to PR in a lot of things. I want to get under like 7:28 in the 60 and run really close to 24 seconds in the indoor 200.
24 seconds? Really? I think I could run at least 15 seconds in the 200. I'd absolutely smoke you, Joey. But we'll get better as a team for sure this year. I think I've been practicing a lot, running really fast, so I think we've got this down for this next track season.
Awesome. All of the upperclassmen and even the underclassmen are really nice, really friendly, easy to get along with, very, also very competitive, but in a good competitive sense.
First year Joey is super excited to be on this track team. Let's see how Carter feels about the team so far this year.
This has been the first year that we've been ranked in the top 25 since the preseason poll, since 2018. Other than that, great. We're striving to where we want to be as a team. We're really improving each and every week. Obviously with our standings each week, we want to keep going up. For this season, our team goal was to place as high as 4th in the conference. We've been consistently 6th or 7th the past couple years, so we want to improve on that. And we got people like Spencer, Max, Yulee, and Clark that have really stepped up this year, and we're moving up the conference list like that. We're a very close team. We hang out outside of practice. We always eat dinner together. It's very family oriented, and coaches bring their kids to practice all the time, so it's fun to see them lifting, and it just brings a smile to our faces.
When I asked Joey and Carter how the facilities were affecting their track and field team, this is what they had to say about it.
Compared to a lot of the other places I've been, relatively terrible. But yeah, usually when we go to places like Wartburg and Grinnell, and even Central, it's very hard to not get envious and jealous of them. But we're working with what we have, and we're still getting faster anyway.
Just the facilities that we have, we don't have an indoor place to really practice, so it kind of limits us, and we have to use the meets as our practices. we've stayed the same as the past couple of years. We've always had the gym from 1 to 4, but basketball's in there, so it's loud and it's hard to hear our coaches when they're trying to help. Other than that, it's been pretty much the same.
Simpson is stoked to see what track has accomplished so far this season, and they cannot wait to see what comes next. For Sctv, I'm Sam Hying.
They sure are a tight-knit group. Their team chemistry is unmatched.
Moving into our sports from this last week, our Claire Varen made the trip to Grandview Open in Des Moines.
She has your highlights from the tournament.
The Simpson College women's wrestling team traveled to Grandview University and competed at the Grandview Open alongside over 40 other teams. Jenna Joseph claimed her second third-place finish in the 170-pound weight class, improving to 26-6 overall with a 5-1 record. She won her first match 10-0 over Emma Crichton from Chadron State, but fell to the consolation side of the bracket with a 6-0 loss in the quarterfinals. 2 straight pins and a 6-0 win of her own propelled her to the third-place match, which she won by forfeit. Kylie Ray Torres went 3-2 overall in the 109-pound bracket to finish in 5th place. She was pinned twice, but secured 6-1 and 5-4 decisions over Maria Diaz from Morton and Evelyn Geronimo from Ottawa, respectively, before claiming 5th with a forfeit. Carrie German tallied 2 pins, and Frankie Graham added 1 of her own. Up next, the Storm will head to Naperville, Illinois for the National Collegiate Women's Wrestling Regional Championships on February 19th. At this event, the top 4 wrestlers in each weight class will advance to the NCWWC National Championship, taking place on March 4th and 5th in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Great to see some strong performances from several members of the team.
Elsewhere, men's wrestling defeated Buena Vista 39-9 in Storm Lake on Saturday behind pins from Dylan McChesney and Shyler Langley.
Our men's track and field team took 4th of the 7 schools at the Wartburg Indoor Meet, defeating Central in the process. The women finished 8th of 8.
Men's swimming narrowly defeated Co in Cedar Rapids on Saturday by a score of 56-52. The Co-Hawks blew out the women's swimmers 163-44.
Women's gymnastics lost 195.025 to 185.175 at Kent State in Illinois, and our men's gymnasts had an empty-handed trip down to Oklahoma, losing 407.65 to 352.55.
Cassie Nash led the women's basketball team to a 75-73 win over Luther in Decorah, winning ARC Player of the Week honors. The men lost 66-48 to the Norse.
Last but not least, Simpson Student Media took a trip down to the ICMA conference last Thursday.
We learned plenty in sessions, networked with other students, but best of all, we won some awards.
Here is your recap from the event.
And now, to brag about ourselves. What better? Our honorable mentions kick us off. Caleb Gear with Best Investigative Reporting about Moldgate. Amelia Schaefer had her best profile with the history of Millie the Ghost. Caleb Gear's Valentine's Day video from last year, which we may or may not have a repeat of coming up. Seth Howard had a great documentary about the women's basketball team. And we also got an honorable mention for Best Media Website. On 3rd place, we had Jenna Prather earn the award for Best Sports Reporting with 1 Year with Thunder. Our Best Staff Editorial about the COVID-19 policies on campus. Best Sports Photo went to Mo Marks at Cross Country. And Jake Brend, his video on Liv's Replacement, won the Music and Comedy Video Program 3rd place award. On to 2nd place, Best Staff Editorial, We Don't Care About PR. Best News was Jake Brend, his sports year in review last year. And Best Use of Social Media, the staff got 2nd place in as well. In 1st place, Morgan Flynn had Best Sports Reporting for the Title IX story she did last year. Great work there. If you haven't picked up a magazine yet this year, the ID magazine cover got 1st place for Best Magazine Cover. Great job to Katie. 1st place for Best Graphic or Illustration, Caleb Gear had his about surviving the final stretch of school. And hey, we're relevant too. 1st place for Best Video Newscast, going to us here at Sctv. And wow, they wrote such great things about us. I'm just absolutely enamored by all that they're saying. Whoa, how dare they talk crap on my corn? No. Here at SCTV, we stand by our corn.
That's going to be all from us here tonight.
We humbly thank you for your time. We will be back next week. Until then, you stay classy, Simpson.